In this video, we're diving deep into what went down at the November 2023 tax deed auction. I've got all the juicy details on the 28 properties that got snatched up for a steal. And the real deal, what they're worth, what they actually sold for, and why it's a game changer. But here's the kicker, fam. It's not just about recaps. It's about making moves in the real estate game. When you sign up for the tax deed field trip, you're not just getting a front row seat to the auction. You're also getting exclusive access to my tax deed game plan. It's the ultimate combo for real estate success, and I'm bringing it straight to you. All right, guys, let's dive into the first property on our list. Sheriff number 1123-53705, parcel ID 09F02020013-027-9, address 770 Mayfern Way. Taxes due of $17,305.40. I have an as-is value of $200,000. Again, we're not able to gain access to the property, so it's really a rough estimate. And an ARV based on the comps of about $250,000. If you don't know what ARV, it means after repair value. And based off of my research, I came up with a max bid of $150,000. And as you guys can see here, the property sold for $50,000 at the auction. And as we move on to the next property, we have sheriff number 1123-53710. That was parcel ID 09F200000955287. Property address Campbellton Fairburn Road. This was a lot. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, taxes due with $10,732.45. My opinion of this property was it had no value because it seemed to be a landlocked property. And as you can see, somebody didn't agree with me and they bidded $11,000 on this property. Again, I believe it had no value, but somebody believed it had value to themselves. It was a landlocked property on a golf course. It just really was of no value. I just really don't know what they were thinking. As we continue, we have sheriff number 1123-53731, parcel ID 130097, LL2186. Anytime you see LL, usually it associates with a lot. In this situation, it's not the case. Address 3379 Sable Chase Lane. Taxes due on this property were $971.81. I had an as-is value here of about $200,000, an ARV of $300,000 based on the comps in the neighborhood. And as you can see, my max bid was $100,000. Somebody actually bidded $160,000. Now, hey, it's not a bad idea. The property was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, and a half. It was last sold back in 2004 for $127,000. It's 1,300 square feet. Lot size about 8,788 square feet, and it was built in 2004. So to win this at $160,000, I think you're still walking in with some great equity here. Again, I wouldn't have went as high. As you can see, my max bid was $100,000 on this property. As we continue, sheriff number 1123-53755, parcel ID 14-0046-0013-180-2, property address 207 McGill Park Avenue Northeast. Taxes due on this property was $12,686.97. I had in here an as-is value of about $250,000, and when I took a look at the comps in the neighborhood, I saw comps as high as $350,000. So I was safe to say the after repair value on a property like this would be about $350,000. I had a max bid of $200,000, considering the fact the property is a condo. As y'all can see here, a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo, which usually holds up value. And as y'all can see, the winning bid on this property was $175,000, guys. I think this was a solid deal at $175,000 for this particular condo. As we move along, the next property, we had 1123-53763. Parcel ID 14-0054-0008-127-9. This was the property address at 171 Almond Street. I was a little concerned about the flooding in the rear of the lot. However, the taxes due were only $1,397.25. I thought it was a relatively solid deal, so I was willing to go as high as $100,000 on my max bid. As is value about $150,000, because when you see new construction on this property, we saw some properties selling for in upwards of $700,000. So my after repair value, which is really after construction, if you were to build a brand new home here, would be about $750,000. the rule of thumb usually is if the property is going to sell for $750,000, usually you're going to spend about 20% on the dirt. So I gave it an as-is value of $150,000. My max bid was $100,000, and guess what? Somebody stole this property for $29,000. I think it's phenomenal that they were able to get a property in Summit Hill for this cheap in terms of a lot. All right. As we continue, we go to sheriff number 1123-53767. Parcel ID 14-0070-0003-036-7. Was property address Park Avenue, Southwest Atlanta. Tax due was $2,052.56. As is value was $50,000. Again, this is a lot. I looked at the new construction in this area, saw it going for roughly about $375,000. I felt like for this particular property, considering the location, my max bid would be about $30,000. And as you can see, somebody was able to walk away with this property at $15,000. Guys, there's nowhere where you're going to be able to create this type of wealth at this rate. Okay, $15,000, and what I told you, my as-is value is $50,000. So you're walking into $35,000 worth of equity now, and in 12 months, it's only going to go up. So, guys, I think this is just what you guys need to see right now to help motivate you to show up at the next auction. All right, so the next property as we continue is sheriff number 1123-53806, parcel ID 14-0148-0002-128-1. The address was 1681 Ralph D. Abernathy Road. It's very difficult to see, but this is Ralph David Abernathy Road. I had a no bid on this situation because I could not locate the lot. It was actually on another property, which was 1685. I don't like to take these type of risks, so I had a no bid because the as-is value to me was unknown. The taxes due was only $1,793.06. In this situation, this property did sell. It sold for $41,000. So I'm going to actually follow this and see exactly what transpires over the next couple of months with this particular property. But again, I was not interested in bidding on this property. This is sheriff number 1123-53797, parcel ID 14-0142-0011-026-2. Property address known as 216 Troy Street. Taxes due were $3,405.56. I gave it an as-is value of about $300,000 because, again, not being able to access the property, I really went as close to what the property was sold for back in 2019. And as you can see here, it was sold for $290,000. So I put in my max bid about $200,000. I was just trying to be as conservative as possible. I knew this one could go for anywhere between the as-is and what I considered to be the ARV. So my as-is was $300,000. My after repair value on this one was $500,000. It can easily be higher than that. I just wanted to be as conservative as possible. This is a 10-unit multifamily, and as you can see, this property sold at the auction for $430,000, guys. Somebody went out there and paid almost, retail, considering you don't really know what's going on the inside of the property, right? So maybe they did their due diligence, maybe they were able to gain access, but this was a solid deal for a 10-unit multifamily in Southwest Atlanta, guys. It really was. The next property as we continue along was sheriff number 1123-53813, parcel ID 14-0164-0005-042-0, address 1939 Washington Road. Taxes due was $14,726.22. I saw an as-is value roughly around $200,000 and an after repair value of $345,000. My max bid was $125,000, and somebody was able to win this property at $130,000. Not bad, not too far from my max bid. As we continue, sheriff number 1123-53815, parcel ID 14-0168-0004-011-2, address 1589 Pinehurst Drive. Taxes due were $16,333.63. I had an as-is value of $200,000 on this property, an ARV of $450,000. As you can see, my max bid was $150,000, and the property sold for $125,000. Guys, this was a solid one. I think it was roughly sitting on about half an acre. I thought this property is going to do very well. I'm familiar with the area as well. It's a solid brick ranch, as you can see. With some repairs, you can easily get up to that ARV of $450,000, guys. Continue along. Look at the sheriff number 1123-53816, parcel ID 14-0175-0004-014-7. That was the address 522 South Evelyn Place, Northwest Atlanta. Taxes due of the amount of $4,394.20. As is value I found was $100,000, and the ARV about $500,000. That's what you saw for the new construction in that area. So I had a max bid of about $50,000. Again, I know sometimes I say 20% of dirt. In this situation, I was more comfortable bidding up to $50,000. As you can see, the property actually sold for $37,000. Guys, this was an amazing opportunity, I think, if you ask me, for this lot to walk away at $37,000. It's great as is value. As we continue along, sheriff number 1123-53833, parcel ID 14-0244-0002-056-7, address 247 Howell Drive, Southwest Atlanta, taxes due of $12,043.49. I found an as-is value of about $200,000 here, after repair value of $315,000. And I put in my max bid at $125. As you can see, guys, this property sold for $85,000. Again, you're not going to find discounts like this on real estate anywhere else other than the tax office. As we continue, 1123-53837, parcel ID 14-0250-0001-011-4, address 3491 Mount Gilead Road, Southwest Atlanta. Taxes due on this one were $1,600.10. I had in here about as-is value of $200,000 and ARV based on the area comps of about $400,000. I was willing to put a max bid of $150,000. As you can see, this property sold for $142,000, guys. Great deal on that one as well. Sheriff number 1123-53845, parcel ID 14F0066-0001-035-1, address number 4595 Sahara Drive. Taxes due of $13,294.67. As is value, I had about $125,000. ARV $350. I had a max bid of $100,000. It went a little bit above my max bid at $115,000, guys. This is sheriff number 1123-53853, parcel ID 170046 LL030-8. Address known as 3148 Lenox Road, guys. Lenox Road. This is very within walking distance to Lenox Mall. Okay, taxes due of $1,650, which was very weird for over an acre and a half on Lenox Road. So something tells me that there was something fishy about this one, but I still was willing to put in a max bid at $500,000 because I feel it's an as-is value of about $1 million. Okay. So I put an ARV of $1 million because, again, this is more like a development opportunity. I think the ARV could be easily $10 million. Okay. You can see here, this property sold for $16,000. This was the second highest sale of the auction. This was sheriff number 1123-53880, parcel ID 170191-LL138-2. Address 1400 Peter Horton Way, Northwest. This is a beautiful townhome. I'm very familiar with this subdivision. Taxes due with $32,996.81. I was comfortable with an as-is value of about $350,000, ARV of $500,000, and a max bid of $275,000. As you can see, this property sold for $412,000. These guys were not playing with this one. They really wanted it. Continue along. This was sheriff number 1123-53901, parcel ID 130156 LL2184, address 240 Armis Place. This was another property I was a little concerned about because it appeared to be encumbering on the lot next door. However, you can't really tell without a survey. So it doesn't hurt because, again, it would be that property encumbered onto your lot. So you can always come up with a solution. But in this scenario, tax due of $5,307.14. I had an as-is value of about $40,000 and an ARV of about $300,000 if you built a new home over there. And my max bid was $20,000. And as you can see, guys, these guys bidded $41,000 on this lot. I want to take a look at that one as well and see how that one transpires. As we continue along, sheriff number 1123-53910, parcel ID 14-0107-0004-0769. Again, this is another one, guys, on Ashby Street. It appeared to be a landlocked. I didn't really see any value in bidding on this property. However, someone else did, and it sold for $8,000 at the auction, guys. So another one I'll be paying attention to kind of see what happens. So expect an update on that one as well. As we continue along, this is sheriff number 1123-53912, parcel ID 14-0147-0002-010-2. Address is Gardenia Drive. Taxes due in the amount of $7,574.33. And an as-is value here of about $50,000 for this lot, as well as an ARV of about $250,000. My max bid was $20,000. As you can see, somebody walked away with this one for $7,500. Another solid deal. As we continue along, this was a weird one. These are two lots on Westview Drive that appeared to be landlocked. Sheriff number 1123-53913. Parcel ID 140148-0004-095-0. Address Westview Drive. Taxes due at $8,154.86. I did not see any as-is value. Did not want to create a bid. However, someone else did, and they bid it and they won it, $10,000 on this property. And the property next door, Sheriff number 1123-53914, Parcel ID 140148-0004-0999-2. Address is Westview Drive. Again, the same thing. This property was adjacent to the last one as well. It's also landlocked. Unless you have access to the neighbor's driveway, I would not bid on one of these. But as you can see, somebody else decided to, and they won the bid at $11,000. With some creativity, I'm sure you can create some value there, but I'm just not one to teach my students to buy in these risky situations. So as we continue along, Sheriff number 1123-53918, Parcel ID 140179-0003-097-9, 1201 Shore Drive is the address, and the taxes due on this property was $14,680,000. Again, this one was very weird. I wouldn't bid on it because it was being sold. The interest which was being auctioned off of this property was that of a condominium. This used to be a condo. They tore it down. So what I believe is that each original owner still has an interest. So buying this property, which as you can see, it sold for $23,500, doesn't necessarily mean you'll have the ability to develop. So I put this as a no bid for that very reason, guys. Sheriff number 1123-53920, Parcel ID 1402020006-030-8. Address known as 1110 Oriole Drive Southwest. Again, guys, this one taxes due was $9,414.17. As is value of $250,000 with an ARV of about $475,000. I had my max bid in about $150,000. It wasn't too far off. Somebody bid $200,000 for this property. The last few is 1123-53924. That's Parcel ID 14-230-0001-066-3. This is 3249 Mount Gilead Road Southwest. Rear. Anytime you see rear, that usually means it's a landlocked property. So as you can see, I have no value, landlocked. Taxes due $11,069.70. And if you pay attention to the bottom right hand corner, you will notice that this property sold for $27,000 at the auction. Not my cup of tea. I do not go after landlocked properties unless I have in with the adjacent lot that gives me access to the street. As we continue along, like I said, for the last three is 1123-53929. 14F0024LL0545 is the parcel ID, and the address is 4012 Bakers Ferry Road. As you can see, the taxes due was $7,999.67. I had an as-is value of about $40,000, ARV of $315,000. I had a max bid of $25,000, and somebody got this one for $8,300. So this was a solid deal as well. Long Sheriff number 1123-53831. Parcel ID 1402430002-064-2. Address known as 136 Hemp Hill School Road, Northwest Atlanta. Taxes due $16,000. I had an as-is value of about $100,000, ARV of $300,000. My max bid on this one was about $50,000. Granted, I did not have access to the interior. Maybe someone else did, which is why they were willing to pay as high as $88,000 for this one. So this one won the bid at $88,000. I thought that was a solid situation for them to walk into some equity as well. I wouldn't have never went that high. Sheriff number 1123-53843, 14F is the parcel ID 0062LL107-4. Property address known as 1412 Scotland Road. This one taxes due of $1,470.57. I had an as-is value of about $100,000 because the ARV for the new construction homes were about $500,000. So my max bid was $50,000 on this, and as you can see, someone was able to get it for $25,000. What an amazing deal. And I think our very last one here is 1123-53887, sheriff number, parcel ID 17-0249-0002. 025-0, Property address known as 1172 Hightower Road, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia. Taxes due of $10,318. I had an as-is value of about $125,000 on this property, an after-repair value of about $450,000. As you can see, the max bid that I had was $75,000, relatively conservative. This property sold for what I consider to be the as-is value of $125,000, guys. You've just witnessed the gold mine of opportunities from our November 2023 tax deed auction recap. But this is just the beginning. Mark your calendars for December 5th, the next tax deed field trip. You'll be front and center at the auction, gaining first-hand experience. Plus, when you sign up, you will unlock your access to the Tax Deed Game Plan web class. It's the ultimate guide to real estate success with tax deeds. So what's next? Visit taxdeedgameplan.com, register for the field trip, and get ready to dive into the world of tax deed investing. You'll also secure early access to the up-and-coming December 5th auction list. So don't miss out on these incredible opportunities to level up your real estate game. Your future is waiting. Join me, Dave the Broker, as we make smart investments together.